Hello dear children, we are going to study about metallurgy. Okay, today we are going to study about metallurgy, that is science 1, lesson number 8. Okay, so what metallurgy here is, that is the study of metals. You must be till now familiar with all metals, non-metals and metalloids. We have learned to group these metals, we have learned to classify these metals, we have learned different properties of metals from our primary section, isn't it? Now, what this metallurgy is and for what it is useful, as metals are there or elements are there on the earth, and our earth is completely made up of these elements. Those elements, they react with some atmospheric matters. Okay, so when the earth was formed, it was just a sphere, just a ball of different types of elements. These elements came together, they were formed into, they got mixed or they got combined with different types of elements with each other. Chemical reaction took place, and the whole earth, now we could see the whole earth is comprised of metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay, nothing else on this earth. We also we also a capsule of metals, non-metals in our body. As well as these metals and non-metals, they react with each other, forming compounds. Okay, so this is a study of metallurgy, what our earth is made up of, and how these metals or how these elements are present in the earth's crust, and how to remove them out and how to make them again into the pure form. Okay, so that all those studies into that elemental form. So these studies, that is extraction of metals from the earth's crust. Let's start begin the lesson. Our earth was born about 4.5 billion years ago. Okay, it was just a ball and it was formed, it started spinning around, and as it started spinning around, the upper layer of the earth, it got cooled. Okay, and its surrounding took place, very heavy metals settled down into that sphere, and lighter metals formed into the atmosphere. You will find inside the core of the earth, okay, its surrounding and the core of the earth, we'll find there are many types of substances. These substances comes out in the form of lava or in the form of gases. You'll find these substances are have different names. They are either in the form of elements or either in the form of compounds. Okay, so we have already classified these elements as well as their physical and chemical properties, we already know. So according to the physical and chemical property, we have divided these elements into metals, non-metals and metalloids. For example, metals are here, you could see all those metals and non-metals and the metalloids and their physical and chemical properties. Let's start studying with this. Know whether metals or non-metals and the metalloids. Okay, so now metals, usually you could see here, they are usually in solid state. Okay, only few metals are there which are at in this room temperature, they are in liquid state. Okay, some metals which are in solid state, these are the aluminum, copper, iron, silver, zinc, sodium, potassium and platinum. Many are there, as you know, solid state metals. Only there are two metals at this room temperature. These two metals, that is mercury and gallium, they are in liquid state. Okay, so at room temperature, many of those metals, all those metals are in solid state, and at room temperature only two metals are there, these are in liquid state. Okay, so their properties, we know metals are pure. When they are in pure state, they have shine, they have luster, they react with atmospheric oxygen when moisture as well as some of the atmospheric gases are there. Okay, when metals are malleable and they are ductile, metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Metals are very hard. Okay, metals can be grouped now into, you could find they in the periodic table, these metals which are there. The first, these are sodium, potassium. These are very soft metals. Some metals are there, they have very high melting point and boiling point, like iron. And tungsten is having very highest melting point. Okay, 3422 degree Celsius. Boiling point varies according to their, they have low melting point or boiling point. Copper, silver, aluminum metals can make sound when you struck, ringing sound. So their property, that is sonority, we call it as, okay, property of ringing. So that is the sonority property. Now we'll talk about non-metals. No, non-metals are, you could see non-metals are also in solid state, and one non-metal is there which is bromine, that is in liquid state. Okay, and most of the non-metals like hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, nitrogen, fluorine, these are in gaseous state. Okay, so non-metals can be found in solid state, liquid state and gaseous state also. So most of the non-metals are solid state and gaseous state. One non-metal is there that is in liquid state, that at this room temperature we call it as bromine. Okay, so bromine is a non-metal which is in liquid state. So non-metals, they do not have luster, that means they do not have shine. Only iodine shines when light, it has the property to reflect light. They are not hard, they are very brittle. Only diamond, which is a form of carbon, it is very hard. That is the hardest substance in the nature. Non-metals are very bad conductor of heat and electricity. Only graphite is there which is good conductor of electricity. Here, these are good conductors of electricity. Non-metals, no, metals are good conductors of electricity and heat. Sulfur is a bad conductor of heat and bad conductor of electricity. That means there is a no difference between metals and non-metals. But iron, that is a diamond, which is good conductor of electricity but bad conductor of heat. Okay, so that your reactivity of these elements are there. Elements react with each other. Then how they react with each other. Metals, as the property of metals, metals have the property to lose electron. When they lose electron, because they have free electron which have less energy, this electron is loosed. When they lose electron, metals become electropositive. So these elements which are electropositive elements, these are metals. Okay, and when they lose electron, they become electropositive. If they lose 2 electrons, that means they will get a charge of 2 plus. If they lose 1 electron, that means they are going to get the charge of 1 plus. That is why plus, because there are more protons present in them. Okay, so they are electropositive elements. Same way, non-metals are electronegative elements. Okay, let's see their reaction with different types of elements or different types of substance from the nature. Okay, let's see this now. When metals, different metals are there, like copper wire, magnesium wire. We have taken different metals here: copper wire, magnesium, ribbon, sodium, iron, zinc, aluminium. These different types of elements, different types of metals we have taken. And let's see these elements or these metals, how they react with oxygen. So let's see the reactivity with oxygen. So how metals react with oxygen? So oxygen which is present here, it is present in the atmosphere. So here you need not to take the oxygen and mix with these elements and see the reactivity. Oxygen we are going to get it automatically, that is from the atmosphere. So let's see the oxygen reactivity of these metals with the oxygen. So copper wire, take a copper wire, hold it with a tongue, help of tongue, and then heat it. Heating the copper wire, after heating the copper wire, flame will be seen, yellow orange flame, and you will find the copper wire, there will be a black color layer on the copper wire. This black color layer we call it as copper oxide. Okay, so we have taken again one more, that is the aluminium wire. Aluminium wire is being heated and we will find white layer on it. This white layer we call it as aluminium oxide. It has reacted with the oxygen from the atmosphere. We have taken a magnesium ribbon. This experiment is done from 8th standard. You'll find it burns with a bright flame and a white powder is formed. This white powder we call it as magnesium oxide. Okay, we have taken sodium metal. Sodium metal is very soft and it easily reacts with the atmospheric oxygen, so it has to be kept in the kerosene. Okay, so we cannot keep the sodium metal just open into the atmosphere like any other elements. As it is kept open, it reacts with oxygen. Now we will take the sodium metal in the spoon in a container and see it itself burns. There itself burns easily, and what left over we get the white powder, that we call it as sodium oxide. Okay, the next one which we are going to take is the iron wire. And iron, we heat it, it reacts with the oxygen. After heating, heating makes the molecules or the atoms far and they can easily react. Zinc, it burns with a bright flame. Okay, and then white powder is formed. That white powder we call it as zinc oxide. Okay, lead metal, lead metal is heated and we white powder is formed, white coating powder on the lead oxide. Okay, so that is a lead oxide. So all these elements are there, metals are there, they react easily with oxygen. Okay, these elements, metals which are kept at home, aluminium articles are there, utensils are there, copper utensils are there, they easily react with atmospheric oxygen, but not so reactive like sodium and potassium. Sodium reacts easily with oxygen, potassium also reacts easily with oxygen because they are very soft. Okay, even at room temperature sodium can catch fire, so it is placed into the kerosene. Sodium is stored into the kerosene so that its reaction with oxygen can be stopped. Okay, so sodium oxide, when you mix it with water, we get alkali sodium. It easily soluble in water and alkali sodium hydroxide is formed. Sodium hydroxide is basic in nature. Magnesium oxide, when we get after the burning of magnesium ribbon, okay, that magnesium oxide when we dissolve in water, we get magnesium hydroxide. Okay, that is alkali magnesium hydroxide, that is basic in nature. So all these metal oxides are there, these are basic in nature and they are reactive in atmosphere, reactive with water. So whilst calcium, iron, zinc and aluminium is shown here, calcium is mixed with water, no, cold water, it easily reacts with the cold water to form calcium hydroxide. But you will find iron, zinc and aluminium, they don't react with cold water. Calcium hydroxide is formed, hydrogen gas is released out, heat is evolved in this reaction. Okay, and hydrogen gas can catch fire. But iron, zinc and aluminium, they do not react with cold water. Okay, there is no reaction of iron, zinc and aluminum. Okay, then let's try with the hot water. So in the hot water also they don't react with hot water. Sodium metal reacts with just water, no your cold water, any water, to form sodium hydroxide, and hydrogen gas is released out where it will catch fire. Okay, a lot of heat is produced when you put the sodium inside, and this heat reaction we call it as exothermic reaction. Okay, so it is placed, potassium and sodium is placed in kerosene. Okay, potassium also reacts easily with water to form potassium hydroxide. We'll talk about iron, aluminum and zinc. They do not react with cold water also, they do not react with hot water also. Then let's see whether they react with steam. Okay, so there is one experiment shown here. You have to take a glass wool, a boiling test tube, glass wool which is soaked in water, and then you have to give the heat. Okay, and an iron wire is being placed. Heat is given to this glass wool. From the glass wool steam is released out. You will find iron reacts with this steam. It forms iron oxide easily, and in the gas jar we can collect the hydrogen gas. Therefore iron reacts with steam. Same way aluminium also reacts with steam, and zinc also reacts with steam to form aluminium oxide, and hydrogen gas is produced. Okay, so all these reactions you are there in your textbook, please refer. Your copper, gold and silver, they do not react with cold or hot water or even with the steam. Okay, copper, gold and silver, but they react, no, sodium and potassium, they react with water, simple water, that is your room temperature, to form sodium hydroxide. Calcium reacts with cold water to form calcium hydroxide. Iron, zinc and aluminum, they react with steam to form iron oxide, zinc oxide and aluminum oxide. Okay, so their reaction is different. Every of these elements are reacting different with the water when it is hot, cold or steam. Okay, but the copper, gold and the silver do not react with water. But let's see whether they react with acids. Okay, we have to see now metal reacts with acid, reaction of metals with acids. So now zinc, this reaction you have done. Zinc, you have to take it in a test tube and then add some dilute hydrochloric acid. Pass a bend tube through the zinc into a water bath. You will find into the water bath or either a soap solution you have to take, bubbles comes out from this soap solution. These bubbles are actually the gas bubbles filled with gas. Now what these bubbles contain, so let's try this with the help of a burning candle, lighted candle. Okay, you will find the candle burns, or either that bubble catches fire with a pop sound. That pop sound tells you that hydrogen gas is produced. So zinc reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to form zinc chloride, and hydrogen gas is released out. So metals, so all the metals will take now. Metals react with hydrochloric acid to form that metal chloride, and hydrogen gas is released out. Here now we have taken magnesium. So what will be formed? Magnesium chloride, and hydrogen gas is released out. If we take aluminium, we'll get aluminium chloride. Okay, and what comes out is, what given out is hydrogen gas. In the test tube, what left over is the aluminum chloride, and what is given out is the hydrogen gas. Zinc, that is zinc chloride, and what given out is the hydrogen gas. So main thing, metal reacts with hydrochloric acid to give out metal chloride, and what comes out here is the hydrogen gas. Iron reacts with hydrochloric acid, iron chloride is formed, and hydrogen gas is given out. So is the rate of this hydrogen gas which comes out is less or more? So let's see with the magnesium when reacts with hydrochloric acid, aluminium when reacts with hydrochloric acid, zinc when it reacts with hydrochloric acid, and the iron reacts with hydrochloric acid. We will find their reaction is different with hydrochloric acid. Okay, hydrogen gas sometimes is given out more or less. In what manner the hydrogen gas is given out, that way is their reactivity chart. So metal reacts not with no every time. So magnesium is more reactive than aluminium, more reactive than zinc, and more reactive with the. So let's see the magnesium react, no, not magnesium, metals reacting with nitric acid. How metals react with nitric acid to form, no, what will be? Nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes. So dinitrogen. So many types of nitrogen. We'll see metals reacting with strong oxidizing agent. That oxidizing agent will take dilute nitric acid. Okay, this dilute nitric acid, we will start reacting with one of the metal. Okay, so dilute nitric acid when reacts with any of the metal, it we get either nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen monoxide will be formed, nitrogen dioxide will be formed, or either nitrogen oxide. So we will take copper and dilute nitric acid. When copper reacts with dilute nitric acid, it gives nitric oxide. Cold and concentrated nitric acid gives copper nitrate and nitrogen dioxide. Two things are formed. Here gold and platinum, it doesn't react with any acid or any base, but gold and platinum can be dissolved in a highly corrosive fuming liquids. Okay, so what all these fuming liquid, it is one concentrated HCl and concentrated HNO3. We can mixed with each other in the proportion 3:1 to form a substance called as aqua regia. Okay, this aqua regia can dissolve the gold and platinum.